Have you ever heard the name Babylon? A city whispered about in both history and legend. A city that once stood in the desert, dazzling the ancient world with walls taller than castles, gates decorated with lions and dragons, and perhaps even a hanging garden that touched the heavens. But Babylon is more than just a name in dusty history books. It is a riddle. It is a story that begins in triumph and ends in silence. A city remembered as the jewel of Mesopotamia, yet condemned in Scripture as the mother of sins. A city whose ruins still lie in Iraq today, whispering secrets we may never fully understand. So, what exactly was Babylon? And why does it continue to haunt our imagination thousands of years after its fall? Let's step back in time. Picture the hot sun of Mesopotamia, shining down on the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. About 4,000 years ago, Babylon was nothing more than a small town. But then came King Hammurabi, around 1800 BCE. Hammurabi was no ordinary ruler. Yes, he conquered. Yes, he expanded. But what made him legendary was his law code, the Code of Hammurabi. You've heard the phrase, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That came from Babylon. Under Hammurabi, Babylon became not just a city, but the capital of an empire. Its name began to echo across Mesopotamia. And for centuries afterward, the city grew in both size and myth. When ancient writers described Babylon, they didn't just call it a city. They called it a fortress of the gods. The Greek historian Herodotus claimed its walls were so wide that chariots could race on top of them. Were they truly 100 meters tall, as he wrote? Probably an exaggeration. But even the ruins we see today suggest walls so massive that invaders would think twice before attacking. And then there was the Ishtar Gate. Imagine this, a towering gateway covered in bright blue glazed bricks. On its surface, rows of lions, bulls, and dragons march in proud formation, gleaming under the Mesopotamian sun. To pass through it must have felt like walking into a world blessed by the gods themselves. If you close your eyes, you can almost hear the footsteps of merchants and soldiers, the clatter of carts, the smell of incense drifting through the air. But nothing captures the imagination quite like the hanging gardens of Babylon. Ancient writers described a wonder unlike anything else. Terraces piled high with lush greenery, water flowing down in streams and waterfalls, palm trees and exotic plants blooming in the middle of the desert. Some said it was built by King Nebuchadnezzar II around 600 BCE for his queen. She came from a land of mountains and forests, and Nebuchadnezzar, in his devotion, wanted to give her a piece of home. But here's the mystery. Archaeologists have never found solid evidence of these gardens. No irrigation system, no ruins of terraced towers, nothing. So, were the hanging gardens real? Or were they a legend, told and retold until they became fact? To this day, we cannot say for sure. Babylon wasn't just famous, it was infamous. In the Bible, Babylon became a symbol of arrogance and sin. The story of the Tower of Babel is often linked to it, humanity trying to build a tower to reach heaven itself. God, angered by their pride, confused their languages so they could no longer understand each other. Whether Babel was truly Babylon or not, the story left its mark. Babylon became the word for decadence, for hubris, for the fall of mankind's pride. Imagine being a traveler at that time. To step into Babylon was to walk into both a marvel and a warning. The height of Babylon's power came under Nebuchadnezzar II. He expanded the empire, rebuilt temples, restored the walls, and, of course, if legends are true constructed, the Hanging Gardens. Under his rule, Babylon became the largest and most splendid city of the ancient world. But Nebuchadnezzar is remembered for something else, too. He appears in the Bible as the king who destroyed Jerusalem and carried the Israelites into exile. So again, Babylon stands in two lights. One, a jewel of human achievement. The other, a dark empire condemned for its cruelty. But even the mightiest cities fall. In 539 BCE, Babylon met its match. Cyrus, the Great of Persia, conquered the city without even a battle. The mighty walls, the gates, the splendor, it all became part of another empire overnight. Babylon did not vanish immediately. It remained important for centuries, even under Alexander the Great. But slowly, people drifted away. The walls crumbled, the temples decayed, and the once great city became nothing but sand and silence. By the time European explorers rediscovered its ruins in the 19th century, Babylon was a ghost of its former self. Today, in Iraq, you can still walk among the remains. Crumbled walls, broken bricks, the faint outline of streets. You can see the reconstructed Ishtar Gate, not in Babylon itself, but in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. Stand before it, and the blue tiles still glow, as if defying time. And yet, you cannot escape the question: how much of Babylon is real, and how much is legend? Were the gardens ever built? Were the walls as high as Herodotus claimed? Was the Tower of Babel really here? Even now, archaeologists argue. And perhaps that's what keeps Babylon alive. Its mysteries are stronger than its stones. Babylon isn't just a ruin. It's a mirror. It shows us what humans can achieve, the laws, the art, the architecture, and it warns us of what humans can become: arrogant, greedy, careless. It's both inspiration and caution, glory and downfall, history and myth tangled together. So, what do you think? Was Babylon the greatest city of its age? Or just a cautionary tale, exaggerated by storytellers and prophets? The truth is, it may never fully reveal itself. But maybe that's the real power of Babylon. It reminds us that civilizations rise and fall, but their mysteries never fade. It tells us that history is fragile, stories are powerful, and even in ruins, a city can still command awe. And perhaps that's why Babylon, though long gone, still whispers to us across the sands of time. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Babylon, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who loves exploring the unknown. Because here, at Dark5 Archives, the past is never finished. It's just waiting to be rediscovered.